I don't often get intimidated by cars. Today, I have a Jeep Trackhawk, a Grand Cherokee. Now why would I be so nervous to drive one of these? This Trackhawk has a 6.2 litre V8 HEMI supercharged V8 engine, producing 710 horsepower and a tyre shredding 868 Newton meters of torque. With such a powerful V8 engine and a four-wheel drive platform, this car propels you to 60 in just 3.5 seconds. Start the car and immediately you know you're in a muscle car. The engine is so large that when you rev it, the car rocks from side to side. So with all these impressive facts and figures, what's the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk like to drive, and what does it feel like?
Oh my word. Okay, here we go. Now, I can just imagine how this car was conceived. 6.2 litre V8 supercharged engine. Now, this is one of those cars that, you know, the people had the idea to create this at some form of a dinner party where you had all the chiefs of FCA around the room. One of the design guys turned around and said, I've got this really great idea, and pitched it to the head of whatever design and said, hey, why don't we take a Jeep Grand Cherokee and chuck in the HEMI V8 engine in it and make it 700 horsepower? And you could just see the look on the guy's face, and it's like, that's a stupid idea, but I love it. And that's where this was born. Jesus Christ. Well, the 6.2 litre V8 supercharged lump in this Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is the same engine that you find in cars such as the Dodge Challenger and of course the Dodge Demon. Now, we all know what the Dodge Demon is capable of, and this thing here running 700 horsepower, it's completely bonkers. 700 horsepower, 868 Newton meters. That translates into 645 foot-pound of torque, I believe. That's just crazy. And all that power translates into a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds, and my word, that's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing for a car that weighs over 2 tons. This thing it's so heavy, and it's a big lump of metal on 4 huge 20-inch rims with Pirelli rubber all around it, and it's just fun. That's the key word, it's fun, and it's practical, I guess, to an extent. Not so much when you start to think about how much it costs to run this car. I mean, petrol stations will be your best friend, without a doubt, and you won't get more than 20 miles to the gallon from it, but you don't buy it for that. It's also got Bilstein dampers as well to try and help a little bit with the roll. And let's be honest, it's at 2 tons, you know that you're driving a 2-ton car. Although, you know, for driving it relatively quickly and cornering, it's not too bad. But when this car was made, it was made with one thing in mind. One thing: straight line speed. And that's the only reason that there's so much power underneath the bonnet. It's just completely, it's crazy. Now, Jeep have had to do a few things because the V8 Hellcat engine, the Mopar Hellcat engine that you found in the Dodge Challenger, Demon, and all those kind of fun stuff, now it's never been intended to be used on a four-wheel drive platform. Now, of course, the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is a four-wheel drive car, whereas the other two were rear-wheel drive. So they've had to do things in there. They had to adjust, you know, to fit this engine. They've had to move things about. They've had to work on the gearbox. They've had to work on the drivetrain. They've had to look at the drive shaft, the CV joints. Loads of additional things have had to go into making this car what it is. It's not as easy just lumping a huge V8 muscle lump into the car and Bob's your uncle and job's done. No, there's been more thought process behind this car. And I think as an overall package, whilst completely pointless to an extent, but equally so rewarding. It's just, it leaves such a smile on my face. And I think that's the important thing. You know, when you're looking at a car like this, the audience is going to be very niche. It's like with a Land Rover SVR. You're going to buy one of these because you're addicted to speed. And, you know, you may want a very powerful kind of V8 muscle car, but also want the practicality elements of it. You know, you can house a whole family in this car. You can fit all sorts of shopping in it. You could fit half of IKEA in here. It's very purposeful in what it is. You know, what's it like? How does it feel? I guess that's the big question, isn't it? How does it feel when you plant it? Dear Lord, it's just completely, you can just feel yourself getting stuck into the seat. And I don't normally get that intimidated by cars, but this is intimidating. You know, you've got such a large platform. I mean, really and truly, this is like a weapon. With the amount of power and the weight of this car, you know, you get this wrong, you are seriously hurting people, you're hurting yourself. So you need to be really focused. You know, it's not like any performance car with this kind of power. You know, like a supercar. You know, people talk about this being a supercar killer, and it is. You know, there's videos of this car on the internet racing a McLaren down a drag strip, and it keeps up with a supercar. When Jeep made this car, I mean, they just encourage you to be an ASBO. They put in a launch control button in a Jeep. They've got all these fancy dials on the screen, which just, you know, they show you all the data and boost and G-forces, engine data. Woo! And the thing is as well with this, an acceleration that's supercar quick. You sometimes very quickly forget that you are in an SUV until you have to slam the brakes on, and then you feel that weight shifting and you're like, oh, you have to really plant the brakes down on it. But a car that goes this quickly, I'm lost for words. I genuinely am lost for words.
As we take a quick breather from the blistering performance of the Trackhawk, we'll take a quick look at the interior. Once you're inside the Trackhawk, you're greeted with these very nice performance seats. They're half leather, half Alcantara, and they're very, very comfortable. You also get a Harman Kardon 19-speaker surround sound system, the Uconnect infotainment system with the new addition called Pages, which allows you to see all the car's performance data in one kind of central hub. Things such as 8-way heated and ventilated seats are all part of the Trackhawk spec. Other features such as forward collision warning with active braking, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, keyless enter and go, and a 200-mile-an-hour speedometer if you're brave enough to push it that far.
I mean, an acceleration as quick as this, that was 60. That was 60. It's mind-blowing. Completely mind-blowing. Like I said, the designer that created this car, you know, those very, very completely crackers engineers and product managers who thought this would be a good idea, you were right. 90 grand for a Jeep. But if you've got a family, you want practicality, in an electric car, all you'll hear is the kids screaming in the back. In one of these, it makes no difference if the kids are screaming in the back, because you just won't hear them. Because this car is so loud, it's so mean, it's got such a soundtrack to it. I absolutely love it. It's completely crazy. You do not need a £90,000 V8 6.2 litre Jeep, but you want one. And that's what driving's all about. That's who this car was created for. To get acceleration like that from a car that weighs 2 tons is completely ridiculous. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do. Thank you to Jeep for providing me with this. It's going back to Italy pretty soon, so I'm really glad I managed to get my hands on it. And yeah, my name's been Stef, and I'll see you all very soon on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.